Hello, everybody. I hope you like the opening. Thank you, Camille, for exposing me, thinking that we are already not online. Anyway, I'm happy that so many of you are joining our conversation today. We are going to talk a lot about latest threats, targeting especially financial environment. So majority of you are coming from financial sector, banks, and other institutions. So what we lately saw is a big increase in attacks on financial institutions, and the attacks spiked 38%, and it's a real trend now for hackers, moving from retail attacks to the banks. But first of all, maybe a few words about us and Group IB. I'm sure that almost all of you are already working with us in some cases, on some projects. And those of you who don't know Group IB is a organization that is doing exactly that, but today banks, financial institutions, and also others really need. They're bringing the data and the analytics to the users to understand and to see what's happening behind the systems. And between other things, they're also consulting SWIFT. They are also doing with, they're helping Interpol, Europol in cybercrime findings and helping them to solve attacks on different institutions and also organizations. So I don't want to go deep into what kind of attacks and tactics are hackers using today, but it's obviously that they are using new ways of attacking the weakest link, which is the user at the end of the day. And if you are talking in the financial sector, we see that they are not only changing the way they are attacking them, but they are getting more successful as ever. So as you said, the data shows that the attacks really spiked to financial institutions, and it's clear, people are staying at home. And if we look at the COVID-19, we see some similarities. The virus is spreading, the pandemic is coming, and also hackers are spreading and attacking more users at home, because more users stay at home, more users are using web services, internet banking, buying online, and this all results in bigger chance for hackers to steal money, to steal credentials, to grab the data that's needed to hack. Anyway, so I don't want to go in too much data, and I would like that we today talk and show how you can prevent that, what the technique behind is, and Camille is going to explain you all. Camille is president of Group IB in Europe, and he's really cool guy, and he knows what he's talking. So with us, there are also Paul Shiptina and Andrei Porshin, who are specialists in this kind of solutions, and they are going to show us also how to protect. Okay, Camille, it's your word, please. You're online.
I'm online, yes, and yeah, I'm sharing my screen a little bit for everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction, Renato. Very many nice words. I highly appreciate it. I just opened the slide now with our agenda for today. We are going to talk mainly about fraud, of course, fraud in regards to online banking, but not only. So, of course, fraud is a big issue for the banking sector, but we know other sectors as well, like telco, like e-commerce, gambling, gaming, maybe also government portals, who are facing issues with fraud as well. And I know that some people in the audience are actually coming from the non-banking sector as well. and they can then transfer actually the knowledge which they receive here for their own industry. We'll start with a couple of introduction words, which we are right now doing. I will just give you then a little overview about the background of Group IB so that you know where our anti-fraud expertise is actually coming from. Then we will have a presentation from Pavel Shepetina, one of our anti-fraud specialists here on the call, who will give you a basic understanding or basic knowledge in terms of fraud so that we are all speaking the same language. So providing you with a couple of cases, with a couple of scenarios, which we then name in terms of fraud. And then he will show you a live investigation demo into fraud. After that, we have a little surprise. You know that we will have a use case live demo here at 10:50. And we have 3 use cases which Andrew Parshin here has prepared. And you will be able to vote for one of them. So we have global fraud hunting, we have 3DS reverse, and we have screen sharing and team viewer detection. And this is then something what Pavel, before we start to vote, he will give a couple of more words about each of those cases so that you can make a decision what you would actually like to hear later on from Andrew. Then Andrew will do a little hands-on exercise with you, checking your own device in real time. So you will be able to use our demo portal, which we would give you access during this session, to log in with your device, mobile or notebook or desktop computer, whatever you have, and see then the device fingerprint coming out on the other side. In our previous webinar, we had someone who even used Tor to access it just for fun, to try something out, or remote access tools to see how they are detected. So all this kind of things can be also done. If you like, then you can experiment a bit. And you can see live how it looks like. Later, in the end, we will then have the use case live demo of one of the 3 use cases. So just to cut it short, let's jump and give you a couple of words about Group IB. Renato already gave a very nice overview. I want just to fill in some more information about us so that you understand our fraud background a bit more than you have now. Because Group IB's reputation in Europe is very much into the intelligence sector. Because we did a lot of work in the intelligence area, provided intelligence to many customers, but also share a lot of it. Maybe some of you have seen our public reports, our public intelligence reports, and that's why our brand is here and there quite popular. But Group IB is much more than that. Our background actually comes from an investigations bureau. So our founders in a university basement actually founded a bureau which was investigating cybercrime. So they did a lot of incident response, they did forensics, but then also investigation into criminals. And this background, this DNA is all over the company still for the last 17 years. That's why we have those close connections to Europol and Interpol, who we help with investigations a lot, and where we are advisors in terms of cybercrime. That's why we work with many local law enforcement units. And that's why most of our products also have this sort of DNA. And when we are talking about fraud, then you have to understand that we investigated so many fraud cases in our time. Our intelligence team is analyzing malware, IPs, Etica infrastructure all the time. And this knowledge is then floating into a solution which we build for our customers to be able to protect themselves. And this is then also where our anti-fraud expertise is coming from. From many different angles, many different vectors, we looked into fraud and into all sort of cybercrime. And I don't want to spend too much more of your time on those dry facts about us. Let's better talk about fraud. And therefore, now I would like to give the word to our first speaker, to Pavel Shepetina, who will give you his first presentation for the beginning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Camille.
Yeah, double thank you, Camille. So just want to remind you that all questions that you have, you can simply ask in the question section, and all questions will be covered in the end of the session. So I hope you can see my screen right now. Today we will talk about some social engineering attacks, especially social engineering attacks, which can be used to steal money and credentials from banking users. And it's especially important during this lockdown period, last year that happened last 6 months. Here we have some statistics, like for example, a few years ago, we detected more than 10 million compromised cards, 12 million last year, and in this year, only for the last 7 months, we detected 74 million compromised banking cards, which is basically 6-time increase, and it's only for 7 months. So for sure, in the end of the year, the numbers will be different. You can also see some local statistics related to Slovenia as well. Numbers also increased. All information based on our threat intelligence platform, where we collect a lot of compromised data, including banking accounts and banking cards as well. In case of compromised cards, numbers also increased almost in 3 times worldwide from the last year. And the same in 3 times for Slovenia. Yes, it was a big leakage probably a few years ago in Slovenia, like more than 2,000 compromised accounts. But then it dropped down to 300, and now it's 900. And this is only numbers that we know. Yes, from our threat intelligence. For sure, in the real life, it's much more. So COVID, it's basically a big challenge, not only for our health, but also for economy, also for cybersecurity, because fraudsters became for sure more active. Yes, many of us staying at home, and fraudsters also stayed at home, and they prefer to use more online methods instead of some real life examples when somebody trying to cash out money from banking machine. Yes, in this case, right now they supposed to use some online methods like 3DS secure page for cash out, for example. So about the channels that can be used to attack banking users, basically we have a few of them. Of course, the first one is retail and corporate online banking, simple web portals, which can be used to provide access for banking services for users, and also Android and iOS applications as well. Probably all banks already have mobile applications. And the last one is 3DS page, which is right now the most important, because basically it's very popular to cash out money from compromised cards. About channels for attacks that can be used to steal something, still prefer to use calls, like when somebody calls you from banking support and says something like, can you say your card number? SMS channel is also popular, especially for Android users. It's also possible to spread different phishing links and malware via social networks and messengers, and also via this channel, basically hacker also can do some social engineering attack, like ask credit card number, like can you please send me a photo of your credit card from both sides, and then OTP code, etc. Via email, it's still one of the most popular channel for attacks, and of course it's possible to spread phishing sites and etc. via email channel as well. In case of web, in general, of course, advertisement can be used, like you can boost your result in the beginning of the page, searching page as well, your fake site or malware, and also you can just hack some popular websites and implement your JavaScript code there to collect some clients data, like credit cards data. About instruments, of course, the most popular instrument is phishing website. Malware can be used not only for PC but for Android as well. Spam techniques, advertising can be used as well. Dark web forum, which is a very good instrument to, for example, maybe you don't need to steal some credentials. You want just cash out some money, and basically you can just buy already stolen credentials on the dark web forum. And human trust, of course, because it almost always based on human trust. Regarding goals, first of all, you can just simply steal login and password and then try to sell it on the dark web forum. You can also do both things, like a stolen login and password, then stole OTP and steal money during this active session. Also, you can sell not only credentials, you can also sell accesses to user devices, access to Android devices, access to different PCs, infected PCs with your malware, and then somebody can buy this access and use this access to steal money or other information from user-infected devices. And the final goal, of course, is about stealing money from user account, from compromised banking card. So going to special techniques, like I said before, you can simply hack a popular website and implement your code there just to collect some information about clients, especially about their credit cards. And for this year and last year, it was very popular to have some really popular websites. Like here, for example, you can see that one of the airlines, which is British Airways, was hacked. And hackers stole more than 300,000 cards. So it's a huge number only from one website. Also, I know about different websites in the APAC region in Europe that also were hacked, and sniffers were implemented to steal users' card data. And of course, this card data then goes to dark web forum. They're trying to sell this card data, and finally, hackers will try to steal money from this card. Smashing. So very popular technique to spread your malware or phishing link, especially for Android users. Because in case of Android, you can also send not only phishing link, but also link which redirects to downloading of malicious APK file. So basically, you can spread malware for Android users via SMS channel. In case of iOS users, it can be also done, but not with malware, with a specific phishing page. Like I send the link to phishing page where user is supposed to type in his card number or login and password information, and etc. Calls, still very popular method to steal some data or money from banking users, because when somebody calls you and from bank representatives and say you're probably hacked and I need to check your account, I need to secure your account right now to identify you like a real person, like a real bank client. I need to know, can you please send information about your credit card and your also OTP that I send you via SMS. It is urgent, and that's why we need to do it right now, because somebody other is hacking you right now and money can be stolen. So please send me your OTP that I sent a few seconds ago. And people can panic. They hear that somebody's trying to hack you and bank is calling. Probably in this case, they can do anything. Say login, say password, say credit number, and also OTP code as well. And only during this call, of course, some credentials will be compromised, like a credit card number, but also they can steal money during this call, because they can in live put your card data on some P2P page, for example, or 3DS page to buy something. And during this call, they already can steal money from this user. So this is a very effective technique to steal money from banking accounts. Phishing is still popular. There are different goals, like you can just steal credentials, user and password, but you can prepare more sophisticated infrastructure to steal money exactly from this specific session. The first step is about typing login and password, and the next step about OTP. And on the backend, you also send request to a real banking page with the same credentials and request OTP as well. So user type OTP on the fake page, and you from the backend, like hacker, sign in the real account. And during this session, you can basically steal money as well. But like I said, you can just simply collect credentials and then sell them on the dark web forum. I mentioned here that phishing can be spread via social networks, emails, messengers, but via advertisement, it can be work as well. When you type in something, if you want to find your bank, probably you will type bank name in the search field. And at the beginning of the page, for sure, you will see advertisement. And this advertisement can be actually fake. Like you can make a title for this advertisement. For example, in this case, ING Bank. And you also can spoof this specific domain name in advertisements. So it can look like real one, but the final link that you have in the advertisement will be completely fake, and it will be phishing site. So it's an interesting technique, especially for collecting user credentials. After you stole some credentials, especially card credentials, you need to cash out money from these compromised cards. And the most popular method online is basically using 3DS page, because via 3DS page you can simply just type credit card and, for example, buy something in different country. And doing this, you basically steal money from these compromised cards. Another method, by the way, which is popular to cash out money is P2P pages as well. And PC banking malware still can be used because basically when you infect user personal computer with some kind of malware, you have the full access to this computer and you can do anything. You can collect anything, any credentials, not only from online banking, but also from email system, from FTP clients, for any kind of software installed on your PC. And also some injects can be done during online banking sessions. And with these injects, you can collect everything from banking session as well. So it's still effective. You also can provide full remote access to user's PC, which also can be useful in case if you want to steal money from the specific user. So it was about cases that we have, yes, about problems that we have, but what about detection? What about prevention? So as you know, we have our own product, which is Secure Bank. And of course, we cover all of these cases. And we use different techniques to prevent and detect such cases. The most important one is, for sure, device fingerprinting, because with device analysis, basically you can see is the real device, spoofed device. You can see different parameters of the device. It maybe looks simple, like one device, second device, third device, but the correlation of this information that you can collect from device is the most important thing. Because, for example, only with cookie, it can be simply cookie can be just cleaned, and from bank perspective, it can look like another cookie can look like second device, but in the real life, this is one device, and it can be like some kind of false positive. So, of course, you need to collect some information about user software, about hardware, installed drivers, information about time zone, and many other things, like do different fingerprints related to WebGL technology, Canvas technology, and you need to correlate this information because operating systems have some updates, browsers have some updates as well, and some parameters will be updated for sure. Even CPU, for example, can be upgraded, yes, from client's perspective, and as a result, you have more cores and it's a different CPU for you. But still, you can use other information to understand that was an update. It's not a new device, but it's an update for all device. It can be updated software, updated hardware, and etc. So we use very sophisticated algorithms to understand the difference between simple updating of the device, of the software, and between new device for user. It is important to collect not only information about device, but also about user's behavior as well, because you can use this information to build user fingerprint related to his keystroke, to his mouse movement, and also understand his behavior, like different clicks, different redirections between pages, how fast was the redirection. Maybe he changed steps during this session. Maybe he copy-pasted something. And also, maybe there is some abnormal activity in this behavior. Cross-channel analysis is really important because in this case, you can correlate information between different channels like iOS, Android, online retail, and corporate portals, and also 3ds page. So for sure, we should correlate information from all these sources. In case of bot detection, for sure, if you, for example, like a hacker, bought 1,000 compromised credentials on the dark web forum, you don't want to steal money from these compromised credentials, which can be 1,000 or, for example, 10,000 compromised cards or accounts. For sure, you don't want to do it manually. In this case, you're supposed to use some optimization tools. It can be open source tools like Selenium, Phantom.js, other things, or you can craft your own scripts like to spoof different devices for each session of compromised account, do it automatically and steal money automatically from banking accounts. So detection of some bot techniques can be super useful because you can see like somebody uses some bot detection, bot tools to steal money automatically. About the malware, so we have our own threat intelligence platform, like Kamil said, and the important thing that we collect a lot of information about hackers, about techniques that they use, and of course about malware samples for different platforms, not only for PC, for Android as well. We have our own reverse engineering team. And we also developed our own malware detection platform, which is a next level of sandboxing. So we provide automatic analysis of samples. We also do analysis with our reverse engineering team. And as a result, we have the view of malware, which can be used to attack different banking users. And we have information about different injects on the page. So basically, with a simple JavaScript on the page, you can collect all injections and analyze these injections, because some of them can be non-malicious, but some of them can be really malicious and collect some data from online phishing, online banking session. The same for Android. Basically, you can collect fingerprints of all installed applications on your device and understand, is it like maybe a fake application or not, or maybe just some unwanted software which is collecting something from your Android device, which can be also suspicious. And of course, these technologies, especially device fingerprinting, can be used for adaptive authentication, like additional step of authentication, which can be useful. And rule engine based on all this information should be sophisticated as well. A few words more about threat intelligence capabilities that we use for Secure Bank. It's related not only for malware detection, but also for IP addresses intelligence, because we can understand, is it, for example, IP related to some open proxies? We can understand, is it IP was used before to steal money, or maybe in some malware activity to spread the malware, etc. And we also scan all IPv4 stack each day. So this is our technology. We basically scan everything. And as a result, we can understand if there was OpenVPN open port, for example, on the specific IP. And then if you see this IP is using right now by user with this OpenVPN active port, we can predict that probably he used VPN. Yes, it's some good example. In case of integrations with transactional anti-fraud, yes, of course, you should use all the information from session to integrate with transactional anti-fraud, because transactional anti-fraud has not so many parameters to decide. Is it like fake transaction? Is it a real transaction or not? But with all the information from session, it can be improved with this additional scoring for each transaction. And we have integration with many different transaction anti-fraud providers. And basically, we have a few APIs which are really flexible and can be tuned for any kind of integration. So about the cases, I already mentioned most of these cases. The interesting thing that this technology, device fingerprinting, can be used not only to detect something suspicious, but also for some kind of optimization. Yes, if you, for example, see that device already used many times by user, and this is a trusted device, there is no any abnormal activity like a VPN or maybe some bot activity during the session, so it's completely clear. In this case, for example, you don't need to send OTP, additional OTP for sign-in or OTP, for example, for transaction limits. So you can automatically high up transaction limits for this specific user. And it's very good from client's perspective, from client's experience. And the interesting thing, of course, that we also cover some PSD2 requirements, especially related to malware detection and device analysis. So it can help you to cover PSD2 requirements. One more thing about malware. Yes, I mentioned that we have threat intelligence team, we have a lot of information, but the interesting thing that we not only focus it on these products, we also have different services. We have audit department, we have forensic lab, investigation department, and we not only like analyze specific malware, we also help governments, help law to find specific fraudsters, to find specific cyber criminals, and send them to jail. Like this specific example related to Kron, they stole more than 1 million from banking users, from retail banking customers, and we helped laws to investigate this case, to understand who is the real person behind all this hacker activity, and send them to jail. So that's a few words more about our experience. Okay, right now I'm going to switch my screen and show you some really interesting examples related to fraud activity from the real life, by the way. Okay, now you're supposed to see my screen. So let's take a look on it. What we have here. We have here one device, which is connected with one user, fingerprint of this device, and use it IP. So basically, it's look like normal session for common user. If we go down, we can see that this fingerprint of the real device also connected with one more device, which is probably fake. Like this device, real device, already has two fake devices, which is connected to another account, which can be also maybe not so suspicious, because in the real life, one device for sure can be used to sign in two accounts, for example. Yes, so it's for sure not really suspicious. But let me zoom out and show you the full picture related to this real physical device. So now we can see that there are not only two fake devices, there is a lot of them. And also a lot of accounts, probably compromised accounts in this specific case. And as a result, hacker just created these fake devices to sign in these compromised accounts to steal money from these accounts. So it's not like a really common thing for retail banking fraud, but it happens with many clients in this case. So somebody just created some kind of script to create automatic fake devices, trying to spoof different devices and use these spoofed devices to sign in many different compromised accounts. So accounts already were compromised, their credentials were sold out on the dark web forum, and as a result, somebody bought them and tried to steal money from these accounts. Another example. In this case, we have only one device, only one real device, one fake device, but you can see like he used a lot of different proxies, a lot of different VPNs, trying to cover his device. But in our case, we provide not only IP intelligence, we also provide device fingerprinting, and we understand the difference between devices. And for sure, it cannot help fraudsters anyhow, like use of different VPNs. So we can detect it as well. Yes, in this case, he also signed in many compromised accounts. And the last one case is more sophisticated, like many different users were affected. We have here one real device, which has 5 fake devices, and this, not 5, basically 7. And these fake devices are connected with many different compromised users. So you can see like how it looks like in the real life. He also used some different VPNs and proxies, trying to cover his fraud, but with device fingerprinting, we detect this activity related to these devices. So let me switch my screen again to another one. I think the question is like, yes, it looks very good for maybe a retrospective analysis. It looks very good for some kind of investigation. But what about detection and protection in the real life? So let me dive into the specific session related to fraud activity. You can see that we have here like session ID, which is our own session from our secure bank technology, different detections related to this specific session, and compromised identities in this case. So what we have here, detailed information about session itself, time and dates, like before signing in, of course, we call it anonymous session. You can see that we collected some information about his device, like URL, for example, do some fingerprints. In this case, Canvas fingerprint was collected, information about user agent, information about active plugins in the device, use the platform. Yeah, in this case, it was some kind of MacBook, user screen, fingerprint of WebGL, and information about vendor itself, like he used Intel graphics, information about CPU, like in this case, we have 8 different cores for this specific PC, information about IP, then second in event, session ID, and different actions on the web page, like different clicks, different redirections, different key combination used. Yes, he used some numeric keys, he pasted and copy pasted something, then second into another account from existing browser. That's why we have here this event, which is related to more than 2 clients with the same device. Like this device already was used to sign in more to 2 accounts in this case. Information about new device for this specific user. Like we provide different options here, like new hardware or maybe just a new cookie and etc. And also he changed a few times his IP, so we can clearly see it, like abnormal change provider, geolocation change, and other detections as well. And of course, all this information can be sent via API with the scoring, with scoring for each event, with scoring for device, with scoring for the session. And as a result, on the transactional anti-fraud side, you can decide is it suspicious session, is it suspicious transaction or not. So I just finished my presentation and just finished showing you some these real cases. And right now I'm going to launch the survey because after me, we have some different interesting demos. One of them is relating to checking your device online. So you will have option to check your device on this specific website, and as a result, We'll show you how it looks like in our interface. And just now I launched voting survey to understand which case you prefer more. For our demo. Yes, we have here different options. The first one is global fraud hunting. In this case, we will show you how we can correlate information between different banks, between different our customers. The second one is 3DS Refer. It's related to phishing detection for 3DS, like how we can understand there was a phishing session before user came to 3DS page. And the last one is related to remote access tool detection. Okay, I see voting right now. So let's wait maybe a few minutes for voting. Yes, maybe we will have some time to show you maybe more than one of them for sure. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
And right now I'm going to end voting and hand over to Parshin.
You can continue voting. So, yeah, hello everyone. My name is Andrew Parshin. I'm an anti-fraud specialist at Group IB. So while the voting is still here, you can vote for your preferred option and choose one of them. I guess that Renato is right, and if we have enough time, we can do several of them, for example. But for this time, I want to share with you credentials and URL to our demo site. So the first part of my speech is about checking your devices in real time. So it will take for, I don't know, several maybe minutes for you to join to this test. So I will share with you into the chat. I guess that the poll right now is almost complete. Yeah, so we could end it and show the results. Yeah, so more than 70% just voted. The first case, the most voted one is screen sharing and team viewer detection. So, okay, I will prepare all of this for you. And as I said, right now I will share with you the credentials towards our site. I will do that into the chat, but also it will shown at the top of the screen. So could you end the voting? Yep. And so into the chat, I just added our demo site. Let me just share my screen. So it basically looks like that. It's just a site with our Secure Bank JavaScript implemented. And what are we going to do right now? I will register the new account that you see right now at the top of your screen. So the login will be FraudBay50. First, the last email address, let it be, I don't know. The password is the same as the login. So after I just registered, no, never store passwords in your browser. It's not a good option. So I just logged into the site. So at this time, let me just speak a bit about it. So Pavel just covered the main functionality and told you about all of the things that we are capable of doing. So right now, I just went into our site, I logged in, and after that, my device is bonded with this identity. What if we see that new device appears, for example, with the same identity? So we will trigger the alerts that more than 2 devices are connected with this, or whether there was, or maybe at the same time. So that might be as a sign for the session being hijacked, for example, or the credentials might be compromised already. And of course, from the bank perspective, it's not like it's not right to have a lot of devices trying to connect to one identity, to one banking account. So basically, it was compromised. And right after I just entered to the site, the JavaScript started work. It collects all the information regarding my my device, regarding all connections to this identity, and I will show you like how it works in real time. So please don't hesitate. Take the fraud day 30 as a login and a password. The URL for the site is pinned into the chat. So feel free to use that to check this out, to check your device in real time. Okay, so I will move on to the graphical interface. Right now, I will show you the last activity. So let it be. Yeah, so we see that one identity is used by different devices. Right here, we can see that it's the recent activity, because it starts at the 11:52. Here, for example, as a quick glance, you can see that someone just used the RDP application and TeamViewer application launched into their endpoint, so at its device. We see that new agent login was detected because I was the first one who went there. And yeah, we see that RDP application was launched, VNC application was launched, the TeamViewer application was launched, and that might be a point when your user might be facing or experiencing a social engineering attack. And we can use that visibility and these detection capabilities to beforehandedly provide you with the verdict upon the user session, whether it is malicious or suspicious one, or is it the benevolent action. For example, usage of remote access tools might be a really important indicator that the fraudster trying to manipulate your user, impersonating the bank employee, for example, or trying to convince to install remote access tools to then access the data or the funds of the victim. So what we'll do is just we come to, and of course, we are providing you with the triggers that new client device appears, new device fingerprint, the IP address was used. So basically, it's definitely not the same device that we see. So we'll move on to the investigation section. So Pavel already showed you this this tool that helps us to see these connections between different accounts, between different nodes, and basically we easily can see all these connections. So, for example, here we can see that a lot of devices, even from one IP address. No, I don't see any of them, but we see connected devices with the same with the same IP address came from Rothenburg upon Tauber. They're using basically it's the really similar fingerprint. So basically, it's the one of them. It's connected to another login, another identity. So I bet it was previously connected onto that. And here we're able to see not only the devices, but also the whole information upon the technical side of this device. So that will help us to correlate these events, to correlate these device or identities between others, so we can see like the real device behind the fake ones. So yeah, 3 identities were used in this scheme. So at the graph right now, we can extend the connections, for example, to extend the historical period when we got this information. So because the first query is for the most recent one information, but if you want to see all historical information insofar as we are collecting a lot of data, and we have a lot of correlated device fingerprints and identities that are used. So basically, we can use this tool to see even the historical connections, whether this device was used in some fraudulent scheme or potential fraudulent scheme as well. And yeah, that helps the investigation, the determination of the fake device, of the fraudulent device, who conducted some money transfer or multi-picking accounts fraud, or even the social engineering if there was any events related to the remote access tool connection. So I guess that's the nice example. Yeah, we can see the IP addresses, of course, as I said, the geolocation fingerprints, as we named it. So such things as the device that is used, the network IP address, the city when it came from, the ISP, the IP address itself, and we have the holistic integration with our threat intelligence. So we're able to, as Paolo mentioned, to provide you the visibility over whether there was any Tor node or open proxy was used. And from this perspective, if some high risky hosting service was used as well, we will provide you the beforehand result, even without logging into the identity of a user. And that will help you to understand whether it is some kind of attack that is coming from the open proxies or Tor nodes, or whether this IP address is really dominant in your fraudulent cases. So, for example, you can put down the IP address or identity or a device itself to then have the investigation visibility over it. So I guess from checking your device in real time, it's done. So that's why I want to go to the poll that was successfully ended. Yeah, and also don't hesitate to ask the questions into the Q&A section, because while I'll be talking about some cases, you may face some questions, for example, and our work here is to answer that. So let me just take a couple of minutes to set this up, because the first example, the first part is the remote access tool detection. Basically, it will work as not only from, let's say, not only from a web channel, because right now I'm setting up the emulator of the Pixel device, the Android device. So one moment, waiting for it to launch. And so, yeah, as I said, I'm right now preparing the Android device. I will, yeah, one moment, share my screen. I guess that you see it clearly right now. Basically, it's the emulated device from Android Studio. It's the Pixel one. We are able to cover all cross-channel possible fraudulent schemes, because yeah, we're also able not to only detect things from the web channel, staying as JavaScript onto this website, onto the web page, but also we can be implemented as through mobile SDK perspective, through mobile SDK code into both platforms, both mobile application for iOS and Android, as you see here. And of course, you might understand, like, this, the fraudster won't stop if he faces that someone is trying to use some mobile device, of course. He will convince victim to install remote access tools such as TeamViewer Quick Support to provide his services, for example. Yeah, as mentioned, impersonating a bank employee, for example, trying to say that this transfer is strange, please provide me with the access to your phone because it's might be infected, and your funds will go there, will go to the controlled account of a fraudster. So we have here the example application, test mobile bank application. So let me enter the login. Let it be the fraud day 30. That's for today's session. Just sign in, put down the password, Don't use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as your password, please. What if we just transfer the money to some bank? Let it be 1 or 10,000. I don't have such money, such amount of money, but what if I could have them? So right now I'm just using the example app of some bank trying to transfer the funds, and my TeamViewer is right now launched. So what if we just see at the Secure Bank site? So please let me share my screen. So basically, we are able to detect a lot of things staying as the mobile SDK, staying as mobile SDK being implemented into any banking application. And here you can see that the last session that is coming at 12 was related to Identity Fraud Day 13. And basically here you can see all the detection that came from this device. So here is, you can see that is no screen lock, because there is no need to enable screen lock onto your emulator, of course. Unknown source downloads enabled, so that means that your user might be able to install some third-party applications, not only from the Google Play service, for example, or here, the first appearance of MobileRat. So we are able to detect sideloaded applications. From Android perspective, we are able to detect even installed forwarder SMS, SMS forwarder application, for example. So this kind of tool might be used by the fraudster to intercept the OTP code that is coming to the user device. And that might be a really automated case when they have the Trojan installed into the victim's device, and then trying to log into the banking application. The SMS code that you provided your customer with will be intercepted by the fraudster to then put it down and then access the banking account. Of course, this kind of Trojans might be installed if the unknown source download enabled, and just you can keep it in your mind. So there was then the sign-in option, and we saw not only the side-loaded application by the overlapping of the TeamViewer inside the banking application. So also here are such things as the web fakes. I think that you are familiar with them. So basically, it's the application that is overlapped then after running the legitimate application of some bank. It will then, being as a background application, it will then overlap the legitimate one, providing you with the similar looking page, trying to get your credentials. And then after you put them down, you will pass these credentials to the fraudster hands. Here are more than 2 clients with the same device. So basically, I used this device before, so that's why this device was connected with another identity, and that's another differentiator that we can get, and identifier from the Android ID. And after I logged in, I must notice that all of these events were triggered even before I logged in. So after I logged in, it was sign in, MobileRat detection, more than 2 clients. It was the identity session of fraud day. Again, no screen lock, and device emulator was used. So basically, we are able to detect the tampering of operating system or a device itself, or your application, for example. If your application changed the hash, we will notify you about it. So basically, when the user just uploaded the new application, or if he has the modified version of yours application, of the application of yours, we will provide you this event that the hash of application was changed, and you can, based on that, you can feed this information to enrich your transactional anti-fraud to prevent the possible harm even on approach. So before these harmful things were done. So I guess from mobile remote access tool detection, that's all. I think that we have some time to go through the real case. So how many time do we have?
25 minutes.
25. Perfect then. So we have 25 minutes, and I will go through with you the real case of some Russian bank that came with the phishing pages, and that faced the phishing pages, the phishing infrastructure of a fraudster. So I want to start with the some site that we found that we saw from some of the users. So it came from this site to the banking site, and we got this referral, and we started to check this out because we got the response that it might be somehow connected to phishing site. So basically, I will show you the Russian examples, but I will translate it into the English with with the power of Google Translator. Hell yes. So after we started to disentangle this, after we started to follow this algorithm, after entering back to site, after pressing the back to site button, we will be redirected to the translate to English. We will be redirected to the fake page that promised to transfer me the money that I have paid for, I don't know, for the taxes. And that's the return of the taxes. So basically, for my lifespan, I guess, I earned more than 200,000 of rubles with the 70 kopecks. Why not? And I have to pay the fee to gather this money. So for some of the users, of course, who is not familiar with the fraudulent cases, with how the cyber, how the fraudster works, it might be as an opportunity, for example, to gather some money. So let's check the comments. And here they said that, have you already doubted whether it is worth paying the commission for a second transfer? Then I thought logically, of course it's worth it. So why not? He did the right thing. Immediately 2 transactions came to the cart. Wow, what's a lucky man. And if you're not so, let's say, conscious user will check through the comments, he will like being persuaded to transfer the money, for example. What if we just pay the bank fee for the second part of the transfer? If I click on this, if I click on this button, I will be redirected to fill my contact details, to choose which card I want to pay by. And after clicking the button, after clicking the button, I will be redirected to the site. And of course, you have to it's changed. While I'll be doing these webinars, we see that some of the domains, some of the infrastructure of the fraudster are constantly changing. And for example, you can see that it has one domain name while he has the similar duplicate of the same page with other domain name. So it's another case when we can have our capabilities being used as for its best. So let's just fill this card details. I want you to follow with me because right here I want to open the code of the page, then put down into the console the JavaScript that means that after I press the button, I will be called a function to open the tab with our secure bank demo site being there. So basically, after that, if I proceed to check out as your user, as a victim, I will be then redirected to the Free.js page to then provide or pass the additional authentication step. So let's have a look at it. If I proceed to check out, I will be redirected to Free.js page with our secure bank script installed. And of course, we are able to, as mentioned, we are able to detect the referrals that are coming from user perspective. And yeah, as an example, let me show you how it looks like. Yeah, and the last activity that we have is the fake service payment. Basically, we are providing not only the trigger that some user was redirected from fake service payment, but also the referrer itself. So, in case if you are, if our threat intelligence mark this site as a phishing, we will provide you this kind of visibility, this kind of detection of phishing resources. So one thing that I want to go through with you is that let's go to the origin of it, like the same site that we went through. We got onto again we got into the site that promised me the money and all of that. So I will just copy its domain name and then switch out onto our threat intelligence. So we're constantly checking the whole IPv4 address space, and in case if we see any connections to phishing, we will provide you the tags, and we will mark this as phishing, and this infrastructure that was prepared by the fraudster is really huge. What if we just, you see that there are familiar domain names, they are all generated. And what if we just extend this kind of picture? What if we see what's behind it? So after pressing the plus, whoa, it starts to, wow. So please, let's pause here. And if we try to count all of them, I don't think it's possible right now, because there are more than 400 of domain names that are used. And all of them are connected with IP address that is used by the fraudster to conduct this phishing activity. So basically, having this prepared infrastructure is important, like for the fraudster, because he could easily, after have this his phishing site taken down by the CERT, for example, or some of the domain registers, he will easily just transfer this code into another domain name, and you couldn't even catch him. But if you have this mark as a phishing resource from the threat intelligence, our secure bank will provide you this this visibility and provide you with the detection of the possibly phishing resource. Yeah. So I guess from 3DS reference, I guess that there is another way how we can mitigate phishing. It's when phishing tool that is used by the criminals might scrap your site, for example, and make a copy of it into at some domain name. So basically, if the phishing tool copied our JavaScript, it will send us the data after being executed or launch, and we can easily see those free third-party domain name connections. And in case if it looks like your site, for example, and we have different kind of methods of our threat intelligence to determine to differentiate the phishing resources by signatures or by machine learning algorithms. And in case if we see these kind of connections, we'll also provide you visibility not only through the threat intelligence, but also the secure bank, from secure bank side, that will tell you that your page was scrapped, your page was hosted onto some third-party domain name. So basically, I guess that's all from my side. That's all from my perspective. We have to conduct the question and answer session, so Q&A. So please feel free to write questions into the chat, so we could easily help you to understand the whole value of our product and how you can mitigate the fraudulent schemes and fraud from its side.
So these maps really look like COVID maps.
Yeah.
And there's also similarity of spreading.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. So it has this kind of references. I bet at it. So the fraudulent infrastructure spread out as the COVID. So no worries, no surprises of it. Yeah, of course, agreed.
We started 20 years ago with fight against viruses, then came firewalls, and then today it's crazy. What is happening? It's beyond the knowledge of normal people. So I'm happy we have you as a partners who have such a strong analytics and tools, to have financial institutions to somehow see and have overview of all these threats and problems.
Yeah, we have to. We're happy to have you as a partner too. So I think it's likewise. So maybe we have some questions. How many time we got? 10 minutes, I guess. Yeah, so we have strictly solid 10 minutes to discuss all of this, all that was showed. So please feel free to put them down to ask something.
Andrew,
And
it's typical in our region, people don't ask questions, they're thinking about your technology now. Maybe we should offer some gadgets or something, and then questions will pop up like crazy, but we will not, I think it's for the first meeting. What do you think, Camille?
I think it looks impressive, like it always does, and it's a fantastic tool. And I hope that we will do something nice with Free Security and with all your partners in regards to that. And I am still wondering if there are no, whether there might be some questions still in the audience. Let's give them a minute to think about it.
I think there are not many questions, or none. Questions will come. The questions will come maybe to you directly or to us anyway. Maybe to point out would be also interesting to people who work in financial sector, who are dealing with cards and stuff like that, to understand that we are able to provide a demo and installation, which is not a problem to do it, and it's not causing any interruptions in the processes that the bank or financial institution has. And I'm inviting all who are today with us, maybe to use this opportunity and think over. And for the first presentation of Group IB in this part of Europe, I think it's kind of enough information to let our partners and customers think over. And if there are no questions, I don't see any questions. Are there any?
No.
I would like to use this opportunity to say thank you to all, because we know it's summer holidays. Many people were not able to join us. Here's a question.
Wow, nice. So
I thought it's already over.
So yeah.
I have a meeting in 5 minutes.
The POC is really easy to implement because it's just the JavaScript that must be installed onto the web page. Basically, it takes to have this POC being implemented onto your site. It might take 2 days to conduct this. So the first day will then just.
I'll be there. Give me a second.
Spend.
Sorry.
No, not a problem. So the first day will be spent to create a certificate, and the second one, and to build a script, and the second is just the implementing. So basically, it's really easy to have this POC and to see its value onto your site, right? Not let's say, not waiting too long, not waiting too much.
Okay, yes, and I would just add that we have a mobile SDK, of course, as well, so it's implementable in both vectors.
I even showed you.
And yeah, and just finishing, I think, Renato's thoughts, because I see that he has run to a meeting.
No problem.
We will all be, of course, very happy to demonstrate the capabilities of the product and answer all of your questions in separate sessions if you like. Please talk to Renato and our partners in your area, and we will be happy to arrange that. If someone would like to try it in the future, of course, POC is easy, as Andrew already mentioned, and free, of course, so that you can see the power of the tool. And yeah, as soon as COVID allows, I hope that we will travel to Slovenia and to all your region, to the Adriatics region, and maybe arrange something like this in offline.
And see sharks here, maybe. Thank you, Camille, to putting me online before we are beginning anyway. Okay, I also would like to thank you guys from Group IB. You're really a great team. We are more than happy to cooperate, and I will also like to thank at the end our partners, Sphero IT, who help us to organize. And guys, we are here to help you with questions, with demo installation, anything that will be needed. So I wish you all a healthy future. Hope that AstraZeneca and other pharmaceuticals will find tools and solutions that are similar to your tools for prevention of hackers. And of course, I wish you all a happy day and see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you very much.
Bye. I'm out.